on our YouTube page. We'll make this available on our YouTube page after the presentation, probably sometime next week. And we'll share that out with anybody who registered, and it'll be available to anybody generally.
Awesome.
Yeah, and we can.
Okay, I am gonna go off camera and I'm gonna mute myself since I'm not presenting at all. So I will do that, but I'm here if you need anything.
Okay, great. Thanks, Mackenzie.
Sounds good.
And she'll probably sign off shortly, when we're a bit into the program. She was here to she knows Zoom ways better than I do, has managed many more than I have. So, and I'll later go off camera and mute, of course, while you're doing the presentation, but I'll do the introduction and then I can either, I don't know who, if Nina wants to do the Q&A, like where I usually just read them aloud to the presenter to help manage them that way. But if you wanted to do it where Nina was doing that, that's fine either way. And then I just say thank you and farewell when we finish.
You can read the Q&A questions if you want, Joan.
Okay, great. And Nina, are you presenting at all too? Are you guys taking turns?
Mm-hmm.
Great.
We're
Perfect.
taking turns, yes.
Wonderful. So we have just 2 people had signed on. Maybe they were wanting to be ready. Hopefully more folks will sign on as it gets closer to 6. I might go off camera and mute for the moment as well, if you're okay with that. Welcome. We'll be getting started soon. Welcome, everyone. Glad you can join us tonight. I'm Joan Spurl. I'm Director of Dolly Parton's Imagination Library at the Literacy Cooperative. We're very pleased you can join us tonight, and we'll be getting started with the program momentarily. Just wanted to provide a reminder that we always appreciate your help sharing information about Imagination Library with anyone you know with children under the age of 5. There are still many families who aren't benefiting yet from the program because they don't know about it, or they don't know that it's a great program for them to participate in. So please share the word. And if you learned something interesting tonight, share that with family, friends, and associates too. So again, we're happy to have you with us, and we're so grateful to our partners at First Federal Lakewood for offering to do this session with us tonight on financial literacy and credit awareness. So we have Eliseo Cruz and Nina Salzgiver. Did I say that right? Who are going to be presenting. And out of respect for your time, since it is, my watch says it's 6:01 p.m. We do have a number of people on with us, and I'm guessing more will come on in the next few minutes, but I think we should go ahead and let you get started. So I am going to mute myself and go off camera and let you two take it away. Thank you so much and welcome all.
Good evening, everyone. I am Eliseo Cruz. With me, I have my colleague Nina Salzgiver, and today we're going to be talking to you about financial literacy, and we're going to touch base about credit awareness. So with that being said, I'll give the floor to my colleague Nina.
Okay, thanks, Alicio, and hi and welcome everyone. My name is Nina Salzgiver and I work for First Federal of Lakewood. I am the branch manager at one of our locations located on East 61st in Chester. A little bit about First Federal of Lakewood. We were established in 1935. First Federal of Lakewood has been dedicated to the strength and economic growth of the communities we serve. And we are proud to be one of the largest independent mutual banks headquartered in Ohio. Some of the topics that we're going to be learning about today, we're going to be talking about budgeting and credit awareness. For budgeting, we're going to learn how to make a budget. We're going to learn what entails in monitoring our spending, setting attainable goals. We're going to consider our income, review and understanding bank accounts, and create a savings plan. With credit awareness, Alicia is going to go over the importance of credit. Credit scores, what is a credit score, kind of talk about the credit bureaus, how to establish and reestablish your credit, establishing a good credit history, and how to avoid identity theft. Okay, so I'm going to be going over the budgeting aspect of this class. So to start with the basics, what is a budget? A budget is defined as budgeting is the process of creating a plan to spend your money. Okay, so how we develop a budget. It helps you gain control of your finances. It indicates if you are living within your means. It may help you achieve savings goals, provides preparation for emergencies. It helps reduce stress, and it prevents or reduces impulse spending. Okay, so some of the challenges a lot of people face when coming up and creating a budget. It takes too much time. It can be complicated and it can be stressful. Okay, step one in creating a budget is monitoring your spending. Why should you track your spending, and what could happen if you don't track your spending in a budget? Why you should track your spending, it really kind of shows how much money is going towards each category of your finances, and what could happen if you don't track your money. What could happen is you could spend more money in a certain category and not have enough for the other categories. So Alicio here kind of has a little printout here of what each category you would kind of track, how you would track this. And he has and you can feel free to, add your own categories where it fits in your life. Okay, step two with creating a budget. We need to set attainable goals. You should be realistic when setting these goals. Establish your priorities. What are your priorities with your goals? Is it to become debt-free? Is it to save for retirement? Is it to buy a house? Is it to pay off, a car loan? Things like that. Next, you're gonna create an action plan. How are you going to do that? Are you going to have some of your, your direct deposit go straight into a savings account? Are you going to cut out unnecessary spending habits, such as, going out to eat, DoorDash, things of that nature? It's important to set timings for target dates. For example, you should always have short-term goals, average goals, and long-term goals. You shouldn't obviously be out to accomplish your retirement goal before your credit card debt is paid off. So we need to have short-term goals, and even with those short-term goals, you can break them down into smaller, more attainable goals, weekly goals, things of that nature. And then, you know, obviously you need to check back in regularly to make sure you're staying on progress. You know, that could be weekly, could be daily, whatever fits your lifestyle and how aggressive you are towards these goals. Okay, things to consider when setting your budget. Gross income versus net income. So you want to make sure that you know the difference between a gross and net. Obviously, you know, you want to realize what your take-home pay is after taxes and insurance are pulled out. If you tend to work a lot of overtime, or if overtime is available, that could be one of your action plans, that you're going to work more overtime to help put money towards your savings goals. And if you get any bonuses, you know, and this year, instead of, you know, using your bonus to go on a vacation, maybe you could put it aside, or pay it towards your debt. Okay. Review and understanding your bank account. So this is kind of a big one. Make sure you know if you have a checking account, does that checking account offer no minimum balance, no monthly service fees, or are they requiring, you know, a $12 service fee? They're requiring a minimum balance in your savings, a minimum balance in your checking. Excuse me. So those are very easy ways to avoid fees. First Federal Lakewood does offer no minimum balance, no monthly service fee checking accounts. So if your financial institution right now is currently, you know, charging you a fee, that would be a great way to save yourself some extra income monthly. A certificate of deposits, if you don't know what that is, it's also frequently called CDs. Oh, excuse me. And what those offer is they are interest-bearing accounts. So depending on the interest rate that current CD is offering, it is an account where you lock your money into the account for the agreed amount of time. And with that, they will pay you money just to keep your funds in the bank. That is an excellent way to earn money without doing anything with it. It's also a great way to avoid spending money that you already have. So if you're someone that, you know, likes to dip into their savings frequently, this is a great way to lock your money in and in the process earn money. Depending on the interest rate and the money that you're locking up, you can earn a considerable amount of money each month or quarter. And then like we said about the fees of an account, you know, are there ATM fees, and how can you avoid those ATM fees? If it just means going down the street a little farther to get an in-network ATM, that could save you money. Overdraft fees, you know, that all goes into monitoring your account and why we're establishing a budget, etc. Okay. And then we have in here what you would need in order to establish a banking relationship. So a lot of banks require to bring 2 forms of identification. At First Federal Lakewood, we do not. We just require, you know, your valid state issued ID. Just as long so it's not expired. And then just to know your social. Have cash or check with you to make your first deposit. There may be a minimum amount or requirement. Typically our opening deposit amount is $50 to open a checking account. Other banks might have different requirements, so make sure you check on those. And that's just your first deposit. So that's not a fee, it's just your first deposit. They just need it to open the account. And then again, if you're opening an account with a joint owner, they must be present and provide the same identification that you did as well. Okay, so some of the services that we provide and that you can use that as tools for your budgeting are mobile banking. That's a great way to budget. It makes you stay on top of your finances daily instead of waiting for the statement to come in the mail. 24-hour access. So if that means at 3 a.m. you want to check your bank account, that's fine. You can do that. And online bill pay. So that means you don't have to write checks anymore. You could pay your bills right away just through our website. Okay. So where can you save money? So this could mean where, with creating that budget's really going to give you a broader picture of where all your funds are going to, what categories. So you might notice that you're spending a lot of money in one category. So maybe the miscellaneous category is extremely high. What's causing that category to become very high? It could be, how much you're going out to eat. It could be, all the TV services that you're paying for. It could be your ATM fees that you're acquiring from using out-of-network ATMs, things of that nature. So that budgeting is actually a great way to see it on paper where all your money is going. Another way, automatic savings or checking accounts. I really like this one. So what this means is that if you have a direct deposit, a great tool to save is have a portion of your direct deposit go direct into your savings. And all you have to do is provide your employer with the routing number and account number of your savings. And that's a great way to save funds because it's out of sight, out of mind. You don't physically have to move the money. And it's a great way, we always say, to pay yourself first. So by doing this, it pays you first without even knowing. And whatever left over is where you can use it throughout your budget. And on here we have needs versus wants. Again, that's a great way to, do I need to go out to eat 5 nights a week? Or maybe one is enough. So it's just a great way to, see where your money, your dollars are actually going. Just so a summary, set realistic goals. Like I said, setting those short-term, long-term goals, and then breaking even those short-term goals into smaller goals will really help you along the way. Budgeting does require forethought and self-discipline. Managing your money will reduce stress. At least you know that you will have enough money to pay for your necessities at the end of the month because you did this. And it also helps you to create a little bit of emergency savings with that money. Should, life happen and something comes up that you need the money, you know you have it. And like we said we pay yourself and you pay yourself first. And just be positive. Budgeting doesn't have to be, a stressful situation. It actually is supposed to reduce stress. So by doing this, it might be a little bit of work and forethought, but in the long run, it will help with your stress levels.
Thank you, Nina. So that concludes the first part of budgeting. If we have any questions about budgeting, this will be the time that go ahead and answer your questions, please.
I do know one person wondered if you would be sharing the PowerPoint with them. Are we able to do that or no?
That is a great question. I believe we could, but just to double check, I will get back to you and then send it to you, and then you might be able to share with the rest of the class.
Or even maybe a handout with the main points might be great to be able to share.
Yeah, and even that chart that we had, I think it was like the second or third slide, which shows like the categories to budget for. That might be nice to share.
Yeah. Okay. Well, at the end, I will mention how you can get all this information as well. So
okay,
perfect.
Okay, great.
Awesome. Okay, so this part is about credit, and basically, well, we usually open up the floor just to see what a credit means to you. But the credit portion, the credit part, credit is the ability to borrow tomorrow's money to pay for something that you get today. And credit allows you, enables you to get some things that you may be dreaming of. So you're trying to get an apartment or eventually become a homeowner, buy a home. You can also buy a car. And having good credit actually goes a long way. So some ways are like even your insurance can be cheaper if you have good credit. Not all jobs, but certain jobs will also will check your credit. So once again, not all jobs, just a few jobs will check your credit, and that will put you ahead of another candidate. So if you have good credit, they might pick you over someone who has poor credit. Even though it's not related to the job itself, to the role, it shows that you have good character and you'll be a good candidate. Well, how is credit measured? Credit is measured by with a credit score, and it's basically a computer-generated number. And this assists lenders in determining your credit worthiness, and that's how they can determine whether to lend you the money or not to lend you the money. And this will impact the rate, the interest rate that you get, and the fees that you receive. This increase, basically every time you apply for a credit card, for a car loan, or for a home, they will run your credit. It's considered a inquiry. So every time your credit score gets wrong, or they look at your credit score, you receive an impact on your credit, and the credit score will drop a little bit. That is because you're taking a new debt, a new responsibility. So this next section, this is what makes up the credit score components. So payment history is one of the biggest components that make up a credit score. And that is usually about 30 to 33% of your credit score. Outstanding debt. So how much debt do you have out there? The pursuit of new credit and the types of credit in use. So different types of to have a great credit score, you need to have different components of credit. This is kind of going back, but I like to compare this to having it like when you used to get a grade in school. Your grade in school will be composed of your tests, quizzes, participation, and homework. So different components used to make up your grade. That is kind of the same way that it works with a credit score. Well, you have different lines of credit will make up your score. But one of the biggest one, it will be payment history. And these reports don't get reported right away. So this information is updated every month. But in this report, we'll have different information such as the opening date of when you open the line of credit, and the day of the last reporting, the limit of the your line of credit, and the highest balance, how much do you owe, and the payment history. We'll also mark whether you paid in full, half of it, or the amount that you paid. Once again, this information is updated every month. It's not updated right away. Other information that we'll get will have your name, your social security number, your current and previous address, and some employment information. In this report, they also have other in this report, they'll have different information as well. So if there's something against you, like you're being sued, because it's public information, that will be shown in your in the public records. It will show on your report as well. So you have any bankruptcies, foreclosures, liens, judgments, once again, you're being sued, that will show in the credit report. So if you're not aware, there's 3 major credit bureaus: Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion. The ranges between these credit scores of all 3 of them is because they will go from 300 to 350 to 800, 850. So it varies from institution to institution, but there's 3 major credit bureau offices. So like I mentioned, every time you run your credit, it's a hard hit on your credit. But actually, if you want to check how your credit is going, you are entitled to 1 free credit report per year. And you can, here's the website, here's the number. You can call and request your free report of your annual report without impacting your credit. You can order them all at once. Some people, they schedule when they want to get a report. Some people want it to get like every 4 months, which is sadly, it's a great idea. Well, now let's go to this part where, let's say that you don't have, you're like, I want to get a car loan, or I want to get a credit card, but I don't have any credit. How can I go about that? The first way will be to get a co-signer. So a co-signer is having someone who has established or good credit already to co-sign the loan for you. I personally don't recommend it just because it's a high risk. It can cause a lot of issues in the future. So for instance, let's say that I need a new car, but hey, Nina, I don't have a car, I don't have credit. Can you co-sign this car for me? And she's like, sure, Alicia, I'll co-sign for you. Well, let's say that for some reason I start making payments. When I start making payments, Nina is going to be responsible for that debt because she co-signed. So it is a big responsibility. I personally don't recommend it. You can go a different route. I will take a different route just because once you take that debt, it's on you whether that person makes those payments or not. And when you apply for new credit, even though that I'm the one making the payments, it may show as if it's one in as debt. So if she's trying to purchase a home, she's gonna on her report is gonna show that she has a debt of a car, even though I'm the one making those payments. So just so you know, I'm gonna go to there's another option called a secure credit card. A lot of institutions offer this product. First Federal Lakewood offers this product. And how it works is that you're putting a minimum deposit of $300 up front. You can put more if you like. You can put in $500, $1,000. And how it works is that First Federal Lakewood will give you a credit card for whatever amount that you put in. Instead of using cash or your debit card, how it works is that you will use this credit card. And when you use this credit card to purchase items that you will purchase with your debit card or cash, you pay it back at the end of the month. You don't have to wait until the end of the month. You can pay before that. When you make those payments, and those payments are reported to all 3 credit bureau offices, and that's how your credit starts to either get established, or this is a great way to repair your credit if it needs to be a little bit repaired. So this is a great way to establish your credit, and usually it varies from situation to situation, but it's usually after a year, 10 to 12 months, usually. If you're in good standing, you make your payments on time, you don't owe anything, that money that you put in up front for your deposit is given back to you. So the bank will not keep that money unless you use the card and you don't pay, but they have your money. And another way to establish credit will be on-site solicitation, but you may not get approved because you don't have credit. You may get approved for one of those in-store credit cards like Macy's. So that's how you establish a credit some ways. Part of creating a good credit history is to repay all your debts on time. Don't rob Peter to pay Paul. Don't max out your credit cards. So they recommend that you keep your credit card usage around 33 to 35% under. Always pay your debts on time. So this is a big one. Paying less than the minimum, it will impact your credit. And the reason why is because it will show as a non-payment. If my minimum payment is $100 and I only pay $50, well, those $50 will not get reported. It will show as a non-payment. So you will get a late fee and it will be a ding in your credit score. And a late payment on your credit report is not gonna come up easily. It will take years before that comes up. And creditors are always there to work it out for you. So if a problem arises, we know life happens. If something happens, just be in contact with the creditor. They can work it out with you. They rather work it out with you than try to chase you. So if they give you a call or they send you a mail, make sure you respond.
Hey, Alicia, do you mind, I don't know if it's in your slide, but going over the minimum versus statement versus the current balance?
It's not. Go ahead.
Okay. I just think it's me and Alicia this is a common question that we get when we do our classes together. It's the difference between the minimum and the statement balance due. So the minimum, it will, as long as you pay the minimum, it's not going to affect your credit score. So as far as the credit card company is concerned, you've paid your your minimum balance. But to avoid any kind of interest or anything like that, you're going to want to pay the statement balance. So what that means, it means that every month you have the same cutoff time. So let's say it's from the 1st of the month to the 31st of the month, whatever you use to purchase throughout that amount of time, that's what you're going to owe when the statement cuts. That's not what your minimum is. Normally the minimum is going to be around 25, is the most common that we see, $25. But to avoid any type of interest, you're going to want to pay that statement balance. Now there's another balance that comes into play, is they call it the current balance. What the current balance is after your statement has cut, and if you use your card after that statement has cut, that's going to be your current balance. So whatever your balance is currently at the moment that you check your balance. Your statement balance is the balance that it was on that last day that the statement cut. So again, to avoid any type of interest towards the credit card, you're going to want to pay that statement balance. By just paying the minimum balance, you still are going to accrue interest. Just wanted to make that point, as that's a common question that we get.
Thank you for that, Nina. So kind of to what Nina's point, what she was saying. So let's say that I have a credit card and I use $200 out of it. And then at the end of the month, the credit card is like, oh, you don't have to pay all 200. You can only pay 50. Let's say that I only pay 50. The following month, I don't owe 150. I'm gonna owe 160, 170, because that I'm just running this realistic and not realistic numbers. But those extra $10, $20 is called interest, and that's how actually banks make their money. So you want to be aware of a smart way to use a credit card will be to only use it for stuff that you will purchase with your debit card or cash. A good, well, another way will be to you can use a credit card in case of an emergency. So that will be a smart way to use it.
Alicia, there was a question as well in the Q&A. I don't know if you want to answer it now or wait till the end, since we are on topic of this. Heather asked, can you go over interest rate and the difference? What is an APR?
Okay, go ahead, and you want to take that, Nina?
I'll let you take it, Alicia.
So let's see. I'm coming in the next slide, so I'll just wait a little bit more to explain, and then we can go from there. So part of it is to understand the terms of credit card offers to establish a good credit history. Paying more than the minimum amount will reduce your credit card balance, and which will help reduce your debt. As we are going to credit awareness, you want to make sure that you check the high fees and interest rates. You want to make sure that you're aware of what credit card terms they're out there, because some credit cards will offer you like a 12 month 0% interest, but after that will be like a 22% interest rate. I think we're going kind of backwards now. I think the average now is like 18, 19, when like a few years ago it would have been like 16. Just when going back to budgeting, you want to understand the relationship that you have with the bank account, so you can save yourself money. Instead of going to a cash check in place, you can get direct deposit and establish a relationship with the bank. Credit card advance, so you can actually get cash out of your credit card. You might get a PIN. I don't recommend doing that. That's one of the worst things you can do. So the interest rate begins the same day. There are usually high fees and high interest rates on that. And then going back to the question, which is, can I go over the APR? So the interest rate is usually the amount that so when you when you're purchasing a home, the interest rate is basically the rate that you got. The APR will be something that will include like the closing cost of it. So you might be a little bit different than your rate, but includes other items such as the closing costs or the any other fees that are out there. So just be aware that there's identity theft nowadays, and it's basically just when someone uses your information to impersonate yourself. So make sure that when you're paying online, make sure that online purchases you have a reliable internet connection. Do not share your credit card or social information through email. A lot of people will never ask you for that. So if there's a reliable company, they won't never ask you for that. Another way just to keep yourself from identity theft will be to share all sensitive documents, including bank statements. A lot of people will use their bank statements with their account number in there, and well, you wonder how someone gets your account number. So make sure you like white it out, blank it out, and then you can get rid of it. Keep your passwords in a secure place, update your antivirus software, and do not click on any suspicious links. Be aware of scams, protect your bank account information, do not send to unknown sources. And if this ever, I think this is like, believe it or not, it's more common than you would think. So you get any letters or calls that you won a lottery, even though you don't play the lottery, or you won the California lottery, even though you're in Ohio, most likely it's a scam. So even though it makes sound like common sense, just if it's too good to be true, it's probably a scam. So you just want to take some time to process it. If it does happen and you become a victim of identity theft, you can contact the company and just the real company and asking if this is true. They will say, well, no, we didn't call you, or why would we call you? You can put in a fraud alert by calling the credit card reporting agencies. And you can, when you get those reports from like once a year, you want to make sure that everything that you apply for or that you have out there, it's out there. Someone shared with me that there was an instance where this lady was buying a home, and then her realtor was working with the bank as well. They pulled her credit report, and then the realtor was like, well, I'm surprised you're trying to buy a house, like now with everything you have going on. And she's like, what do you mean? Well, it turns out that on her credit report, there was a judgment against her. And turns out they had the wrong person, but it was on her report. So you want to make sure that you go through your report and you make sure that everything's all the correct information is there. To continue this part is that if you have a complaint, you can put in a complaint to the Federal Trade Commission to receive an identity theft affidavit. You can also file a police report and put in any information or any information that you might have got. You can dispute credit errors and close fraudulent accounts. To summarize this, you'll understand credit, why we need it, but most importantly, how do we use it? You want to monitor your credit reports for accuracy and errors. You want to understand that your financial habits can impact your credit score and protect your information. So First Federal Lakewood is a big advocate for financial literacy. A lot of this information that we just shared and went over with you is actually on our website. You don't need to be a client to take advantage of it. I'm sorry, I'm just putting it on the chat. So if you go to our website at ffl.net, there's a section called FFL University. And once again, you don't need to be a client to take advantage of it. There's different topics that you can go, different modules that only take 5 to 7 minutes to go through. There's like the foundations of banking. There's high budgeting, credit. If you're thinking about starting your business, so we give some tips to small business owners. Planning for retirement or financing higher education. So there's a lot of modules, there's a lot of information out there that you'll be able to you will be able to take advantage of. Nina Salzgiver's information is on the screen. The First Federal Lakewood is inside the Dave's new store. That is the phone number for the branch, and Nina's email. You have any, you want to reach out to her. Once again, First Federal Lakewood is a full service bank. We have really good rates on loans. We work, we don't have any minimum loan amounts, and we work with all kinds of assistance down payment. So if you have any questions, I'll also drop in my email on the chat, and you'll be able to contact me directly. There's a second question.
It's related to the interest. You want to take a shot at it, Nina?
Yes, I
Okay.
can. Okay, so the question is, can you explain how an APR of 25% works in regards to a credit card? How does APR interest work? And then the second, isn't it a full 25% Luke standard interest rate? So how does it work? Okay, so a lot of credit cards you're going to see are like a 25% interest rate. So now let's say you use your credit card and your bill comes, your statement bill is $500. Your minimum balance is $25. If you only pay $25, that minimum balance, you're going to pay interest on the remaining $475 on that payment. So you're going to pay that. So the interest rate only comes into effect for the unpaid statement balance. Okay. Now, a lot of other times you're going to see introductory 0% APRs. Normally that's about 12 months. They could be longer, they could be shorter. What that is saying is for the first 12 months or whatever term that they set, you're going to have 0% interest on any debt that you put on that credit card. So a lot of people will do balance transfers. So what they'll do is that, let's say you're on a journey to becoming debt free. A lot of people will transfer their current debt that they're paying interest on from another credit card, transfer it to the credit card that's offering 0% introductory APR or APY. And they will use that 12 months to really focus on paying off that debt. Because what it is it gives you a chance to not accrue interest on that debt. So I hope that kind of answers your question, Heather. And Heather also had another question, is can I call each credit bureau and lock my credit free of charge? Yes, you absolutely can. You can call them free of charge and lock it. Just when you go to, like, let's say apply for a credit card or apply for a car loan, you'll just have to remember to call to unlock it for those situations. It doesn't show a 20% fee on the balance. Okay, so Heather says, I have $3,000 on my credit card currently, but doesn't show a 25% fee on the balance. Okay, so you might have an introduction. I'm not sure how long you've had the credit card. You might be getting a 0% APR on that, or you are, I don't know if you're paying the statement balance or if you're just paying the minimum. I'd have to take a look at that bill, which I'd be happy to do. If you wanted to come by the office, I'd be happy to take a look at that for you. Okay, and then Alicia, I don't know if you want, there's another question in the chat if you want to take that one.
So it says, what is the best option between debt consolidation and working with a credit counseling service? I acquire a lot of debt with credit cards with bad rates and also a high interest loan and looking for some relief. So that you can go so many ways. One of the ways that you can do is to kind of do a balance transfer, what kind of Nina suggested. If you have, I'm trying to see, you say you have a loan, also a high interest loan. So I wonder what kind of loan it is. So usually what people do, or like some other banks, what they'll do is they try to get you a personal loan. And what they do is they're putting everything together into that loan to pay off that credit card. Usually the rates for that, they go from 10 to 15%. And the reason why it may be a little bit higher is because it's an unsecured loan. If you own your home and you have some equity in your home, another suggestion that we can do is to do a home equity line of credit. And how it works is that you get a loan. It's like a line of credit as well. You can use it for anything. It doesn't have just to be for debt consolidation. You can use it if you need to fix your roof, you need to even buy a car, or like consolidate your debt, which will be in this scenario. And the rates are usually way better than a personal loan, because we're putting a link against the house. So we have the equity from your home. And they are usually way cheaper than a personal loan. But a personal loan is usually going to be higher because, once again, it's an unsecured loan. They don't have any collateral. I hope that answers your question. But you can, if you own your home, come talk to Nina. She'll be able to guide you. If you want, you can show the numbers. What would it be like? Run some numbers between getting home equity or doing another loan. You can. There's some credit counseling services out there, but they can also guide you where to go. But you want to do your research on these credit counseling services, because what is in for them. Some of them may charge you a fee, so you might be paying and you think that you're paying towards your debt, but in reality you might be paying them first before they start attacking your debt. So I hope that answered your question.
Well, and I just was going to ask, I know you said your website has some information, but is there a place like a resource or an individual or an organization or a website that you recommend for more basic guidance around creating that budget and addressing these things? And, are there counseling services that you could, send people to just get a start? Just curious if those resources exist.
Yes. So give me I'm pulling up my website. Give me 1 second.
Okay. And then I just want to say that I sympathize, because I found myself in a similar situation. I was living in Chicago, an early childhood educator on my own, making very little money, and it was an expensive place to live. And it was very stressful for me. So I wish you all well. And I want to remind people about the Earned Income Tax Credit and the Earned Income Tax Coalition of Cuyahoga County, where you can get, I know when are taxes due? Soon. But that coalition had help available for people to get their taxes done for free. And if you don't get it done this year, like if you didn't do it in previous years, they can help you with previous returns. We did a session with them a couple weeks ago, but if you go to refundohio.org, which I can put in the chat later, they have information and help and appointments where you can get free tax help. If your income is under $60,000 or more, you are entitled to that tax credit. That could be a big help for some of you if you're not claiming it, and you could be. So.
Awesome. I will also share a partner that I work very close with, and I'll go over her information a little bit. So this is ffl.net. This is our website. Under advice, this is FFL University. So you can select a playlist. So basically what you may want to learn, you want to learn the foundations of banking, preparing for retirement, investing in your future, building financial capability. Different topics are there here. Financing higher education. You can personalize your own playlist. So you want to learn a little bit about different topics, you can more certainly do so. Once again, you don't need to be a client to take advantage of this. So this is basically part of what we discussed earlier, the budgeting and the credit. So you want to go and do it at your own pace. You want to do more, or you just want to review it again. Let's see. Here's how it goes. And once again, some of these they take like 5 to 7 minutes to go over it. So basically, right here, how do you decide how to spend your money? And it's very interactive. So right here, this is this is how you'll be able to spend your money. So if you're working, it's very easy to get coffee in the morning, to get like lunch, like because you didn't pack lunch. So let's say that you get lunch like 2 to 3 times per week, and you get a coffee, it's like $4 or $5. In a week, you're spending $23 in a month. It's almost 100. This is how much you will spend in a year. So you can do customize to whatever it is that you spend your money on, and we'll be able to show you the numbers. So I do recommend doing that. Here's a little bit little rule that this is an interactive video, but basically shows the 50, 30, and 20. So 50% of your income should go towards stuff that you need. So meaning like either your rent or your mortgage, utilities, you need transportation. 30% can go towards stuff that you want. So like dining out or getting shoes that you want but you don't really need. And 20% will go towards stuff like putting away for your savings for a rainy day. So you can customize everything, track your expenses, and then you can create a spreadsheet. There's different online softwares, and that's basically how that's part of the website that you can take advantage of. And like I mentioned, if you're thinking of purchasing a home soon, you can there's other, let's see,
If
owning your
someone,
home.
if someone isn't on that path yet and they don't own their own home, are there sources for good 0% interest cards, or, but do you advise that they come and meet with one of you or call one of you for the best advice?
Yeah, I would. Yeah, if someone was telling me they wanted to like start establishing, because in a year from now, in a year and a half from now, they wanted to purchase a home, I'd kind of sit with them to kind of get an idea of where their credit falls, so I could suggest the best path to either improve their credit or establish their credit.
And even just to pay off this debt
to pay off their
that's
debt, even if they
weighing
want to
them
like
down.
Exactly. Even some of my customers, like they come in with their bills and I will put a budget together for them, like what I think would be the best to, how fast they want to save so much money. That's fine. Alicia included my address on there. If you want to stop by, just I'd be happy to help.
Definitely. So right here also as well, you can see what does home ownership cost. So some upfront cost, you can see if you're looking at a house like 125, 85, how much you need to put up front. And now what I want to share is there's this it's a hard approved credit counseling agency out there. If whoever asks that question, you want to write this down. There's this partner that we work very close. She's we work with them close, but she's non-biased. So she may guide you to if there's something out there better, she's gonna point you in that direction. It's called NID. NID, and her name is Wanda Thomas. She's great. She's able to pull up your credit report and see what's out there, and then she'll be able to guide you on how to fix it, repair it. And the nice thing about it is that when you're considering home ownership and you don't have a down payment, there's a lot of products out there, and what they will do is they'll be able to guide you or point you where there's a down payment assistance program. Usually when you get a down payment assistance program, you have to take you have to go through the process with a hard approved credit counseling agency. So you're working with them, they're gonna point you on the right direction where to go.
I don't see any more questions coming into the chat. So, into the Q&A. So I think maybe you answered all the questions. And so if that, one just popped in there. Let's see. Was that NID Wanda Thomas?
Yeah, so Wanda
NID,
from
yeah.
from NID, I put it on the channel, they can see it. So NID, Wanda Thomas, look up one NID in Cleveland. I think there's a lot of chapters throughout the whole country, but I was just in her office today. She's great, she does great work. It's a non-for-profit, so there's nothing in for her.
Oh,
So
great.
so she you know that she's really out there to help people. And there's different down payment assistance throughout the whole city. So I know Euclid has one. I know Lakewood has one for sure. And then there's a lot of information out there. So just make sure you're stay open to different sources and make the best decision for yourself.
Someone asked how they contact you for credit repair. Do they?
So what we can, the way that we can do it in the office will be to do a secure credit card, and that's where they'll have to put in the money up front. I actually am not in the branches, but they can contact my colleague Nina Salzgiver, and she'll be able to help them.
Okay, great. And that email, you put your email in the,
Yeah, Nina, can you put in your email on the chat?
so while she does that and you guys have a chance to get that, just let me know if you can't access the chat, but I'm hoping you can. I just want to say thank you again for doing this presentation for our families, for our Imagination Library families. And I hope all of you found it helpful. Thanks again for giving up time on this beautiful day and this beautiful evening. I hope you get to go out and enjoy some of it. And now there's another cute question, so let's just check that. Oh, thank you all so much. Good. I do hope it was helpful. I really could have benefited from this years ago. We will be sharing the recording, and if there is sort of a handout, we will probably share those website links that you provided. Maybe you guys can follow up with an email to me with those links. So when we send an email out to families with the recording link, we can share those with them.
Definitely.
But again, and all of you, if you have, I'm seeing things in the chat. I just want to make sure. Oh yeah, so they gave the address inside the Dave's Supermarket on Chester, right? East Chester, and then I just want to check. Oh, another thank you. So just want to make sure we're doing due diligence. So again, thank you. And tell folks about Imagination Library, everyone, and the Earned Income Tax Coalition. If your income is under $60,000, you can get help from that coalition. They do free tax assistance to help residents of Cuyahoga County claim that tax credit, which is yours to claim. It belongs to you. And it can amount to thousands of dollars for families. It can really make a difference. So if you didn't know about that and you need help, that organization is there to help you. And I put that in the website. It's www.refundohio.org. Alicio, Nina, again, thank you so much for contributing your time to share this information. And I hope you all have a great evening.
Thank you,
there
guys.
Thank you,
Great,
everyone.
thank you. Thank you
Have a
so
good
much.
evening.
Bye-bye.
Bye.